Hi everyone, happy Monday. I hope you are all having a wonderful start to your week. My name is Michelle D. Garrett and I am here tonight for episode 3 of So You Wanna Blog. Thank you all for jumping on. Lala, OMGs. I had to take a breather and get myself together after watching your closing of PeriGirls tonight. You kicked butt. It's totally okay. It's totally okay. I was getting in here and I was like, oh, let me check and make sure. And I saw that y'all were still on, and it happens. And it's one of the wonderful things that I love about our community is that we are here to support one another, and we do all of that good stuff. So those of you that are tuning in and you're like, what is she talking about? I have the absolute honor and privilege of coming on after karaoke each Monday night. And so tonight, our team, we did a collaboration and they did an amazing job. So make sure you go and follow the hashtag karaoke and you can see all of the great scopes that were done tonight. So tonight we're talking about So You Wanna Blog, episode 3, and we're talking about how to get more eyes. I love that emoji. How to get more eyes on your content. And so I wanted to give you all a quick recap of where we've been so far. Thank you all so much for coming in. As you're coming in, definitely make sure you tap those 3 dots and share this out, whether you're watching live or on the replay. You can retweet, share on Facebook, and invite your followers as well. So we appreciate you. And so tonight we're talking about how to get more eyes on your content. So for those of you that are here and that were here last week, Lala, did you do your homework? Because everyone had a little assignment to do. And so each week we are building on those assignments so that by the end of the 6 weeks that we are here, see, I said assignment and 1L popped into the house because I know she rocked out her assignment for last week. And so each week we're building upon those assignments so that at the end of these 6 weeks, you will have enough content and enough information to feel confident and comfortable with launching your own blog or revamping or revitalizing a blog or website that you have underneath your domain. And so last week, your assignment was to come up with 15 topics that you wanted to discuss on your website. And so some people kind of hyperventilated because I was like, I'm going to give you some ways to come up with 90 days worth of content. And my challenge is that each of those topics is something that you will post once a week. So you'll have a little over 3 months worth of can't stay long. I just started a new live stream show. Okay, well, I appreciate you popping in, and of course, Overachiever, you created more than 15. Yes, Kim, definitely go back and watch the replay of the first 2 episodes. We talked about just why you want to have a blog and blogging basics, and then last week we talked about how to start a content calendar, and then today we're going to talk about SEO, search engine optimization. That is a way for you to organically get eyes on your site, or as I affectionately call it, Google juice. We all want that Google juice when it comes to our website, because essentially what that means is that you're not having to put in a lot of work on the front end. You're not putting in a lot of work on the front end to get people to come to your site. They are searching out topics that are relevant to what you're writing about, and it's things that you talk about. It's things that you want to be known for. And so because of the information that you have on your website, when they plug in a search term on Google, it brings them to your website. And so we're going to talk about some simple ways to go ahead and get that Google juice, and how to get your shift your mindset a little bit so that when you are writing and when you are putting out content, you'll put it out in a way that it will help Google to be able to help you. So we want to do things so that, we want Google to be our friend. Now, there are quite a few other search engines that are out there, and once you get into your analytics, you'll be able to see where your traffic is coming to on your website. I like to focus on Google because if you do things right for Google, then you'll do things right for everybody else, because let's be honest, that is the largest search engine that is out there. So typically if someone's going to go and search information out, they're going to go to Google. and they're also going to go to another social media platform. And if anybody can guess before I get to it what that social media platform is to search out, and it's one that oftentimes people don't realize that they should have their content on. Because they kind of take it for granted. But when you think about where the places that you go to search, when you think about the places that you go to search content or search out information, then you'll be able to think about it. Yahoo, no. Let's see, I've been MIA, but I'm back. I'm so glad you're back, Kim. We appreciate you. So we talked about what search engine optimization is. Essentially, it's just the process of getting seen organically, where people are plugging in a search engine plugging in, how do I buy a house, or who's the best realtor in California, or how to be an engineer. They're putting in information in a search engine, and your content is coming up because you have written content and you have your website fashioned in a way that you're able to be in that search engine for them, okay? And so there are a few ways to make sure that you show up when people search, okay? The first thing is you got to have content. Okay, so that's why we started out last week, and I told you all to come up with 15 topics, and with those topics to have them be things that relate to you, that are things that people would ask of you, that are things that you teach on a regular basis, kind of like a frequently asked questions. What are the core content, the core questions that, if you were telling somebody how to do what you do, or you were meeting with a new client, what are the basics that they would need to understand maybe before they hired you on, or before they started the process for doing something that you promote or sell. So that is what those first 15 topics and articles that you're going to have on your website, that's going to be your core content that you're going to be sharing. And so not only do you just want to have content, you want to have high quality content. So you want to have content that people want to read. You want to have content that people are going to be able to use and apply, and it's going to make it, make their life easier. Because if it's high quality content and it's information that they need and want, they're going to save it. So they'll bookmark it, so they'll be able to come back to it at another point in time, so that they can use it like as their little, their research library. They'll share it. So if it's information that they feel that other people need to know, they'll share it out with their friends, whether they share the link on Twitter, on Facebook, utilizing Pinterest. If you have images on your website. So you want to have information that people want to read, and they'll want to digest, and that they'll want to share as well. And then you want to make sure that your website is mobile friendly. A lot of people sometimes forget about this. They get on their desktop and they create this beautiful website, but then if you go to your cell phone and people are trying to find your site or trying to navigate on your website, they can't. And think about it. Where do you do most of your searching? Where do you do most of your, when you're visiting websites and you're looking at something or you're trying to find something? Probably the majority of the time you have your cell phone in your hand. And more users are going and getting information and doing their research right from the palm of their hands, or they're using a tablet, which is still considered a mobile device. So you want to make sure that your website is mobile friendly, and Google and other search engines, they're taking that into consideration as well, because they know that the people that are searching their websites, they can tell when somebody is on a mobile device and when that person is on a desktop. And so when they're going to be giving them, when somebody searches in a term and they are going to be giving them websites and information, they're going to give them sites that will fit the device that they're using. So if your website is not mobile friendly, you're not going to get up as high in the search engines, because the people that are searching it aren't going to be able to use it because they can't see it. The font's going to be all tiny. Have you ever clicked on a website and it's been like the desktop version on your phone and you can't read anything? Like, you have to scroll in. You just click off of it. You don't want to do that. You also want to use informative titles. Hey there, Janae. Thank you so much for jumping on. I appreciate you. You want to use informative titles and snippets, or the previews. So again, when people search out your information, how do you decide? And a lot of the things for search engine optimization is putting yourself into the driver's seat, as not as a content creator, but as someone who is searching out this information. So you have to pretend like you're your ideal customer. What is it that you would be looking for? What are the things that would make you click on your website when you have 10 or 15 other ones to choose from? So you want to make sure that you have, hi there, you want to make sure that you have a title that is eye-catchy, but also informative. So, you know, it's good to have those sensationalized titles, but you also want to have a title that lets me know, like if I click on this article and I want to know, how do I buy a house? Or what's the process to buy a house? When I click on this article, it's going to give me the steps on how to buy a house, and I'll be able to do that, do that based on what you're giving me. I need to watch. Yes. We're building on each week. So definitely, if you haven't watched the first episode, you'll want to go back and watch them, because each week we are building up on it. But I think even if you haven't watched the other episodes, you'll be able to kind of get your brain churning if you're wanting to start a blog or revitalize a blog that you have out there, Janae. But that's a great question. And then you also want to not cheat the system, okay? So when you're thinking of search engine optimization, when you're looking at how to be seen by Google, I promise you, you're going to come across all kinds of, different courses and different types of services where they'll say, we'll get you ranked #1 by Google in, 7 days. Guys, Google knows all about that, because guess what? They're promoting themselves on Google. And so the best way to get seen is to put the work in on the back end so that you will not have to work as hard. And that will, your Google juice will last longer if it's done genuinely, if it's done the right way, because the longer your content is out there, the more you're promoting it, the more people are coming to it and reading it and searching on it and clicking on it, the better it's going to be. And Google will know, and all the other search engines out there, they'll be able to tell that you have good information, and they'll continue to bump you up in the search engines because you have quality information. There's people that try to cheat the system, and it may work for a little bit, but there are some serious repercussions when you try to cheat the system when it comes to search engines, and you don't want your website marked as one that has not done the right thing, because if you get blackballed by a search engine, then it's a wrap. It really is a wrap, because it's going to be so much harder for you to get organic traffic to your website, which means that you're going to have to consistently be proactive with the work that you're doing, and you're going to have to be the one out there sharing it and making sure that people are going to click on it and not, be able to sit back and relax a little bit. I'll share this. I have been gone pretty much the whole summer. Like, I literally just got back into my house. When did I get back in my house? Today's Monday. I think I got back in my house Saturday. That lets you know how much I've been gone. So I have not been actively promoting my website. I have not been actively, sharing things out and putting things out. I won't even say how long it's been since I sent out a newsletter. I'm embarrassed to say it. But I am consistently meeting my traffic goals for my website each day. Actually, for the summer, I've exceeded those goals, because the content that I've been putting out there last summer, the summer before last, 3, 4, 5 years ago, that information is still valid information. And so when people are searching out that information, it's still coming up, at the top of the search engines, and they're able to find that. So my traffic is doing great when I'm doing less work. And so that is the point that I want to get most of us at, so that you are able to put content out there. And I say this is a disclaimer that I give with each and every single one of my episodes of So You Want to Blog. You will have to put some work in to get the results that you want, okay? I am not offering a, one size fits all, or, just click this button and it's going to, everything's going to be hunky-dory. No, there is some work that you're going to have to do when you're setting up your website, but I want you to learn from my errors. I want you to, I'm giving you the steps, step-by-step process, so that you're able to set it up the right way on the front end, and it won't be as difficult and it won't be as stressful for you as well. Hey there, Elder Carmen. Thank you so much for jumping on. I appreciate you. So we have been talking about search engine optimization, how to get more eyes on your website and on your blog content. And I've shared, why you want to have search engine optimization, what it is. Essentially, it's just Google juice, as I like to call it. But when people are searching out content, how will they find you? And so last week, we talked about doing a content calendar, and I had you come up with 15 articles or 15 topics for you to write about. And so this week we're going to build on those 15. So I'll let you know now that your assignment for this week, it'll be a little bit easier because you're just going to go back to those 15, that list of 15 that you started with. And we're going to kind of tweak it a little bit to make it easier for you to mesh out that content. And then next week, 15 people, that's it, just 15. I think I said 12 to 15, and I said if someone wanted to be a rock star, that they could do 20. But 12 to 15 topics, and then next week what we're going to do, this is going to be the fun one next week, because we're going to start writing, and we're going to start meshing out and kind of pulling that content together so that you'll actually have an outline that you can use to make writing your blog post a lot easier for you, especially if you do live streams. So it's easy ways that you're able to plug in your live streams and be able to kind of mesh the two together, okay? So let's talk about keywords really quick. Let me check my time. Okay, I'm doing good because I came in 15 minutes late, so I'm going to be on here. My goal is to be on here until about 10:45, 10:50. I think that's when I logged in, so I've got about 15 more minutes left. So the first thing is keywords or phrases. So essentially your keyword is, what are people going to search to find you? Okay, so who do I have on here? I have Bonnie. I know Bonnie does a lot of writing things. So Bonnie's could be how to write a screenplay, like really simple, and then from there she can kind of build upon it and all of the different things that go into writing a screenplay. Did I say the right word? Is that the right word? A script? I'm not the techie TV person, so she'll correct me if I'm wrong. Let's see. Lala was in here. There we go. Lala was in here, and it could be, you know, how to prepare yourself to to buy a house, or, you know, home buying woes, you know, just all the different things that come with, you know, purchasing a home. Let's see, who else is in here? Shelly does a lot of soaps, so Shelly's could be how to make soap. Something as simple as that. I want you to be really, really simple with your keywords to start off with. And if you're feeling a little stuck, here's a way to kind of cheat the system a little bit, but go to Google and start typing in what you would normally type in. Okay, and you'll notice that Google will automatically start trying to guess what it is that you're trying to type. So if you say, you know, how to make soap, and if you look before you hit the enter button, you'll notice that there are a lot of other suggestions that come underneath that. Google is telling you what other people are searching out on a regular basis to get to this topic. So those are some good things to look at to see, like, can I write about this, or is this a topic that people would look for? So those 15, that list of 15 that you came up with last week or throughout the past week, you can actually go and start typing those into Google, and it'll kind of help you mesh out what your keywords are going to be. Now, your keywords should really only be 2 to 3 words because those are going to be those main words that people would think about when they think about your content, okay? And this is how you're going to be found. So this is essentially how Google or any search engine that you use, how they're going to be able to kind of crawl your site. I know it sounds all sinistry, but essentially that's what Google does. They go through your site and all the search engines that you submit your website to. They crawl your site and they look for this content. So when they see those keywords, they're like, oh, she writes about this. So then when they know that you write about this, and then Elder Carmen goes in and she puts in her search engine how to do XYZ, then it's going to start pulling all of that content, and the higher you rank, the easier that you'll be able to be found, because you'll be on that first or second page of Google, okay? And then you can also use tools like, there's a Google Keyword Planner. If you have signed up and used this before, then it's already in there and it's really easy to set up. If you haven't used the Google Keyword Planner before, it's a little bit more difficult because they want you to set up an AdSense account, and you have to put in your credit card and start or debit card, and you have to set up an actual campaign. Don't worry about that right now, okay? Don't worry about that right now if you've never used it. There's some other tools that you can use. There's one that's called, and if someone can type this in for me, this would be awesome. And then I'm also I'll probably tweet this out as well, but it's Keyword Tool, so all one word, keywordtool.io. That's the website. I know it seems a little like not your normal website that you're used to, but that's a free service that you can use to look at to do keyword research. So the same thing that I was telling you to do to go to Google and type in your keywords, you can go to this website. That's perfect. You can go to that website as well, and they'll do the same thing in a more concise basis, and it'll give you a lot more information because it'll tell you how many people are searching out these keywords and how popular they are, and you can kind of decide from there whether or not you want to use those and implement them. Another one is WordStream. That's another site that is free to use that you're able to go and do some keyword research. It's really easy, so I'm gonna warn you now. It's like going down a rabbit hole because you'll get really excited because you'll get all of these ideas. Don't do it, okay? For now, don't do it. Hey, Joanne, thanks so much for popping in. So just stick with your list of 15. That's why I had you write that list of 15, because I want you to stay focused and not get all over the place. So start with that list of 15, and that's where you're going to do your keyword research, just for that list of 15 of the topics that you came up with that are going to be like your starter topics for your website, okay? And then what you're going to do once you start writing, you're going to weave those keywords into your articles in a natural way. So I don't want you to feel like every article has to, for me, I could say, you know, how to start a blog. So I wouldn't start every sentence or include in every sentence how to start a blog by writing a blog post, or how to start a blog about real estate. How to start, no, because again, let's go back to, we don't want to try to cheat the system. Google knows if you use that keyword like 25 times in a 500-word article, they're going to be like, come on, Diva. Now you know. You know. That is not how you want to do that. So you want to weave your keywords into your article in a natural way, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more in depth next week when we come up with our outline for our blog articles. But it's something to be thinking about when you're thinking of your keywords and you're thinking of how you're going to set out your content for your readers, that when you're using those keywords in your article, that's another way that Google that's another way that Google and other search engines are able to tell whether or not you are writing about that same content. Because some people will like say that their keyword is must have refrigerator parts, and then they write a whole article about the ocean. Those two don't match. So why would you have your keyword and that? Come on, again, we can't cheat the system. We can't. And then the other thing is a thing called Google Search Console, okay? So if you just go to Google and set up and type in Google Search Console, it'll take you to the website. You'll log in with your Google website. And one of the reasons I keep coming back to Google and I'm mentioning Google is because A, it's free, okay? I want to provide you with some content and resources that are free for you to use and that will help you. And again, Google is the largest search engine that there is. So if you set things up right for that search engine, everything else will kind of fall into line. And we're all about free 99 in the PeriGirls community, okay? So once you set up, you'll sign in with your Gmail account for the Google Search Console. You'll add your website, and it'll walk you through the steps on how to add your website, and it will again crawl your site. It'll pull your information and data in, and it will give you different things that you need to do to make your site better. Okay, so it walks through everything for you. As soon as you sign up, it actually emails you a checklist of things that you need to do. And all you have to do is go straight down that checklist and do those things. So it'll tell you, make sure you've added your site, make sure you have submitted a site map, and anything that you don't know what to do, it has a link for you to go ahead and click on it, and it'll outline everything that you need to do for you. So it's super simple to use, and it's free. It's free 99. It's like a one-stop shop on how to make sure that your website is set up in a concise way so that Google and other search engines are able to optimize it and find your content for you, okay? Your URL. So this is going to be this is another way to make sure that your site is optimized. But when you're creating content, you want to make sure that the URL that you decide on, it fits with your keyword. Okay, so it's really simple to do. Whatever your keyword is, that's what your title is going to be most of the time. Okay, you're welcome. You're welcome. And I'm sitting here like, oh my gosh, when I write out my outline each week, and then I get excited and I'm like, why did I think that I could talk about all of this in 30 minutes? But when you're shaping your URL, that's another way to make sure it's optimized, because that's one of those things that when people are typing in their keywords or their question in Google, that's what it's searching to find out whether or not your article can help them or not. And again, we're going to talk about that a little bit more in another episode when we're talking about shaping our articles and putting it all together and then getting ready to hit that publish button. But these are the different things that you want to think about when you're creating your search terms so that you'll be able to be found on Google and other search engines as well. And then internal links. So one of the reasons that I had you come up with that list of 15, I'm telling you y'all, this list of 15 is going to be super, super valuable, is that when you're writing your content, you will be able to link back to other articles that you have written. So let's see, Lala isn't, I keep picking on Lala because I know her site and I know some of the things that she's going to be doing, but with real estate, so she could be writing an article on, the loan, what's the word I'm looking for? The loan process. Okay. So maybe, she's telling her potential home buying clients like what to expect with the loan process. And so in that, there could be something where she's talking about, getting your credit right. Or there could be something when she's talking about just knowing how to find out like how much home you can afford. So those could be other articles that she has written. And when she talks about those in her list of steps for the loan process, she'll link back to another article that she has written, so that when people are reading that, they're going to read that and then like, oh, she has all this other content that I need. So they're going to click on that, and then they're going to click on that, and then they're going to just be all in her site or in your site because you're going to do the same thing. And they're going to be like, oh my God, she's awesome. So when people are clicking around on your website and they're going to other articles and they're reading and then they're scrolling, because Google can even tell when people are scrolling through your website. So when they're clicking and scrolling and sharing and doing all of that thing, that is how Google is able to tell that you have a valuable website, that you're providing valuable content, because people are staying on it for an extended period of time. So you want to provide ways for them to stay on your website for an extended period of time. And then your images. So this is the last two, and then perfect timing. The last two that we're going to talk about, and then if there are any quick questions, I'll take those, and then we'll be back next week. I love this. Okay, so use images in your articles, people. Okay? I promise you. I know sometimes it can be difficult and like, well, what should I use? Even if it's just a generic image that fits within what you're talking about, okay? So, oh, thank you, Lala. So, if you're writing about, soap making, then you could have a picture of you making soap that you have staged. I know Shelly she takes some beautiful photographs. So just being on her Instagram account. So a lot of the stuff, if you have another account, so if you share stuff on Instagram or Facebook and you already have images, you can just pull those images from that account and put them on your website. It is definitely very boring without them. And so this is how I'm going to share what that other search engine is that people often forget about. It's Pinterest. More and more people are utilizing Pinterest as a search. Like, Pinterest wasn't even here to be a search engine, but more and more people are going to Pinterest to search out content. And it's not just for the things that you would think that they would search it out about. They'll search it for like how to be, like, people go to Pinterest and say how to start a blog. They'll say, how to decorate my house, all of those different things. And so things that you really wouldn't think about, people are searching on Pinterest as well. So having images on your website will help people to pin, because you'd be surprised the things that people pin on Pinterest. And so when you are adding images to your website, you also want to add a description to your images as well. So when you're uploading those images, there should be boxes that come up, and this is going to be based on whatever website that you're using for your blog, but you'll be able to set what's called an alt image or alt tags for your images, so that when I hover over your image, I'll be able to see the words. Like, if you go to a website, just put if you're on your cell phone, it doesn't work as easily, but if you are on a desktop, hover over a photo and you'll notice that some words should pop up if that website person has done things the correct way. Google can't always read the image, but it can read the text that is associated with the image. So that's why sometimes if you go to do a Google image search and you type in certain words, that's why, you know, the items that pop up. And sometimes you may get some really random things that come in that Google image search, but it's because whoever has uploaded that image, they have put those keywords in there for some reason. So that's why you want to make sure that you have images in your site so that it can be found by Google. And then also if people are going to be pinning your information, or you even pin your stuff, even if you pin your stuff to Pinterest yourself, okay? And then the last thing, which we just tied in, is social media. And so you want to make sure that when you're sharing your content to social media, that you're using your keywords as well. You don't have to use it every time, but you want to just find ways to weave in the key terms that people would use to find you and find your website, because a lot of the stuff that we put on social media, especially public pages, they can be found in searches as well. So if you're putting stuff on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube, or even your Periscope broadcast, when you're sharing them out to Twitter, it's good to have keywords in there as well so that you're able to be found that way. And there you go. That has been this week's episode of So You Want to Blog. So yeah, so your assignment for this week is we're going to build upon that list of 15 that we had last week. So if you're like, what are you talking about, Michelle? Just go back to this channel and look at all of the videos, and you want to go back to last week's episode. You'll see my beautiful face. And so you will see my beautiful face, and you'll want to go ahead and rewatch that so you can learn what your list of 15 is. But those of you that watched last week and you're now watching live or on the replay, you're going to go and you're going to take your list of 15 or 20 and you're going to list out your keywords next to them. Okay? And if you want to go and do a little bit of keyword research, don't get overwhelmed. Don't go down the rabbit hole, because it's going to be really easy to do so. So if you want to do a little bit of keyword research on those resources that I gave you, which is keywordtool.io or WordStream, then you can do that. But just be really, let's start off really simple and basic with the keywords that people would use to find whatever it is that you're talking about. And they should be no more than 4 words, okay? So 1 to 4 words as to what people would search out to find whatever article it is that you're working on, okay? There you go. So I will see you all next Monday. Thank you so much for joining in. I appreciate you, and I'm so excited and thrilled to see all of the great content that's going to be coming from those of you that have been following along on this journey. I'm excited. I get excited when people start new blogs and repurpose them. You're welcome, Lala. I appreciate each and every single one of you, and I will talk to you next Monday. Have a good night. Bye-bye.